check. Well, 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 it is just about time to get things underway. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2025 Canadian Crown U15 Prep Tournament. All sorts of high-flying U15 prep hockey is about to come up onto your screens, and we here at Trick Shot are going to bring you every single one of those minutes, which are going to come up over the next 4 or so days. First one on tap is going to be between the Burnaby Winter Club and Shattuck St. Mary's. We've got some high-flying individuals on these overall teams as well. We'll get more into those and some players to watch shortly, but now it's time for puck drop. Welcome into Trick Shot, folks. My name is Tino Farah. Let's get underway. Canadian Crown royalty is on the line from Devon, Alberta. Starting goaltenders in this game will be Tyson Oak for BWC, and from Shattuck's, it'll be Luca DiConzolo. And an early offside call will give us a chance to break down these teams a little bit here, shall we? As we take a look over at BWC, who, of course, playing over in the CSSHL, coming into this game with a regular season record so far of 10-5. And they feature one of the top prospects in this tournament, one Kenzo Gibson, who is on the ice as we speak, wearing number 13 as we speak. He is going to be a player to keep your eye on throughout the entirety of this tournament. Keep that in mind, number 13 in black and yellow. Currently with 33 points in 13 regular season games. And he tries to knife his way through and then goes hard into the goaltender, Luca DiConzolo, who is slow to get up, but now back to his feet. Looks like he's going to shake that up, and Kenzo Gibson is going to go straight over to the BWC bench. And now we'll get a whistle for the net being knocked off. But it was one Kenzo Gibson as we see that move. Certainly not intentional, just sort of lost his footing due to some pressure. But lucky that that didn't wind up worse than it actually was, and Luca DiConzolo will stay in goal. And let's tell you a little bit about he and his team, because DiConzolo comes into this game with a .903 save percentage, a 2.60 goals against average to this point. And I was looking through the record of Shattuck St. Mary's so far from this year. An unbelievable 26-2-2 record. They have not played in a little while, though. Their last game came on their Detroit trip in the Little Caesars event, and that was back on November 23rd. So they have not played a hockey game in a couple of weeks, and unfortunately for them, those last two games were a pair of losses. But before that, they had gone 28 straight games without a loss. 26 wins in there, and a couple of ties on the record as well. There's a spinning shot that goes wide off the stick of Hayden Carpenter. Big collision into the boards, and it's chipped out of the zone. Now carried in by Shattuck's Jack Kaiser from the right wing. He'll shoot wide of the glove of Tyson Oak. As mentioned, the starting netminder for BWC. So he comes in with an .873 save percentage. That ricochets wide, and then he makes that at point-blank range. Rebound is shoveled into the corner. So that rolled off the stick and off the corner boards. Braden Dean with a good look there. Now he'll fish the puck free from behind the net, but he's cut off before he can get much farther, and BWC will carry ahead. Dump and change is on the menu. Some changes behind the play. Chipped ahead by Reese Del Giaco. Out of the zone. Shattuck looks to go with speed along the left wing side. Found that deep in the corner once again. Now it'll be their turn to make some changes as a fresh pair of defenders make their way onto the ice, and just in time to make a play, Bretton James goes over to defensive partner Rylan Schneider. Couldn't get it past the center line. Carried back in by BWC, and Gibson heard some footsteps at the last second. Now spun in front, and it's out the other side. Picked up by Logan Chang. He'll feed behind and in front. The pass was towards Ty Warnick, but he couldn't get good wood on it. And now Shattuck will go the other way with numbers. Rink-wide feed, hops over the stick of Myers. Close call there. Both teams clearly playing with some speed through the middle of the ice. There's no transition that isn't really a clean look to this point. Almost a centering feed, but it goes off a BWC skate. Now wrapped back around the boards. Picked up in stride by McNellis. He'll get it again, turn and shoot off the end boards. Ricochets back towards the corner. Forecheck underway now for Shattuck as a rolling puck goes now across the blue line. Shot through a screen, deflected, just wide. Big bounce towards the front of the net off the end boards. Didn't make its way there. Now another shot thrown in by Domalewski. That deflects wide once more. Waist high, it's knocked down by Gibson, picked up by Chang. One of the assistant captains for BWC. He'll carry to center. That allows his team to change. Now he's going to have to recover as the defender. He's the last man back in the defensive zone. BWC able to clear that out to center, though. No worse for wear. Bowie gives chase with some speed. A couple of D-to-D passes and bank forward up the wall. Michael Putticombe sends that out of the reach of Bowie. That'll be an icing call to bring the face-off back down. Just as we expected, a high-flying start to this game, to this tournament overall, and it's going to be a busy day in terms of the schedule on day number one. There was a little bit of a change in the schedule as CIHA was originally supposed to play against Team Illinois over at the Dale Fisher rink, but due to some travel delays, that game has been rescheduled to tomorrow night over here at the Shane Zender Memorial Rink. That one goes off the post, big rebound, now to the middle, and there was no stick available. Weston Egan trying to deflect that home, now feed to the slot once more, and it's picked up by Theo Falk. Gets it to the near side, or rather to an open wing, and first man there is Del Giaco. Schmidt mishandled it, sent back in. Brett James will reverse to Del Giaco. A cleaner look this time. Nice stretch pass ahead, a nice move along the blue line. Joey Stewart to the middle on the backhand, but that's just wide, sliding off the stick of Schmidt. How quickly Shattuck was able to send that up the ice and get a scoring chance out of it. Maybe some more to come here. So they'll try to get the cycle underway. Centering feed gets deflected back behind the net. Lucky break for BWC. Otherwise, that would have been another clear-cut chance in front for Shattuck. Here comes Shattuck again, trying to knife through a couple of defenders with Owen Moulton. Lost the handle, that'll be cleared all the way down, and icing is going to be the call. And BWC not going to be happy about that because Christian Lima was just about a stick's length away from being able to negate that icing, but the call remains as is, and Shattuck's pressing here will get a chance against maybe some tired legs. Not only tired legs, but some travel legs as well. The first game of the tournament, always a bit of a tough one. Early morning start, coming off of a day full of travel, have to find a way to get those sea legs under you. And coming off an icing as well, not an easy task. But the Burnaby Winter Club will look to break free. A nice save by Oak with the right pad, and doesn't end up having to make another one. There it goes off of the right pad this time. A good look in front for Moulton. The shot was not a clean one, and he'll pick it up in his own zone. Tough pass, it's kicked off to the backhand, but it rolls off of Gibson's stick. Almost some magic right there. Puck just found its way onto his tape all of a sudden. This top line for BWC will try to do some work. Back to the line, Gibson deflects down low. Picked up by Carter Ewell. He'll bank it to Simpson at the blue line. Fed back down low to Kenzo Gibson, trying to protect, but he's being worked on nicely by Will Scaletti. Scaletti won that battle, sends it to the line, not out, deflected. Back behind the net now, and BWC caused a turnover. Arta Donata doing a little bit of work. Ewell got crunched, knocked off his path. Shattuck will try to clear. Arta Donata causes another turnover, and this line doing some work on the forecheck here. At the very least, you're tiring out this group for Shattuck. Gibson took his man down, no call. Look at the pass in the corner, tries to center, and that one was about shoulder high. Collected by Chang off the outside of the post. He's going to have to recover now. And Shattuck's at the tail end of a shift. Get a wholesale change underway, which allows BWC to re-enter back over the blue line. Brenton James goes after it. Sees a BWC jersey come towards him, but makes a nice play to get it ahead. And turning it back was Hayden Carpenter. He'll pick it up in his own zone and look up the wall. Rowan Stacy. He heard some footsteps himself. Chips it past, though, gets it back to Carpenter. Puts it in deep, allows his line mates to change. Blind pass, Stacy picks it up, but he couldn't find the handle cleanly. And then a couple of big bodies collide along the boards. Everybody back to their feet. Chang on the backhand, puts it through the middle, and Grayson McKenzie intercepts and carries. He'll chip. Goes across to the left wing. Still with possession, working down from the corner now. They'll look to the blue line. Across, shot through some bodies. It deflects behind the net. Knocked loose. Shattuck now will try to get their cycle game underway. A shot that's blocked in front. Not going to be the recipe for success on that chance, as the big defender, Michael Puddicombe, will carry. 6'1", 155 pounds for the right shot D-man. Banked ahead. Another couple of bodies collide in the Shattuck's end. Bobbing and weaving through to the middle, glove save, rebound off the post. Tyson Oak got the first one, didn't have to make the second one as his skinny red friend helps him out. Falk chips it down. Both teams trading chances. Close call at the line, it's gloved down and sent back in deep to the corner. Christian Lima will go after it, but first to collect was the defender, Will Scoletti. Gets it to the line, not out. Gibson with a nice move, high slot, shot off a stick and out of play. Man, is he quick to turn that into an offensive chance. This was the Shattuck's opportunity, the original save, and then that one looked like it was labeled for the top corner. But off the post, and Tyson Oak, well, I'm sure go and have a word with said post now that the play is at the other end. Kenzo Gibson is going to line up at the faceoff dot against Weston Egan. Gibson gets some help from Lima to the blue line. It was a rolling puck that floats just wide. Now center to the middle. Gibson took a whack. Ends up in the corner once again. Lowther goes after it. Stumbles trying to throw a hit. Lima, another rolling puck. Couldn't get everything on it, but did still get it down low to the corner. They try the cycle underneath. Gibson playing with a couple of different teammate or line mates in this chance. Scoletti has a little bit of room. He'll throw it to the middle, but it's intercepted and sent right back in from center ice. Scoletti with a better pass this time. Up the left wing, connects with Del Giaco, who sends it in deep from his own side of center. On the last icing call, it was BWC who was a little bit hemmed in. This time they'll get a chance to return the favor. Still looking for the game's opening goal. Just about halfway through the period. Egan going on his forehand to try to win this. Did most of the job. Now he's just going to carry it out of the zone himself. Nice pass ahead, partial break, backhand, and the centering feed is once again intercepted. William Simpson had his stick in the lane. Right place, right time. Brenton James. Tough one to handle for Blake Schmidt. Looks like it just rolled off his stick. And then he'll throw a hit in front of the bench. Both teams trying to assert themselves in this game in different ways. We've seen a couple of big hits. mostly at the hands of BWC, but now one from Shattuck to try to get some more momentum in their side. And looking over at the Shattuck's bench right now, actually, it looks like Blake Schmidt having a conversation with his coaching staff. To the line, just out. A close call there, but Shattuck will have to vacate. That'll allow a relatively free clear for Logan Chang. Up to the right wing this time. That hopped over Warnick's stick. Icing waved off, though, and Stacy will collect in the corner. Tries to reverse. He'll get a second chance, and looks like a stumbling Julian Nelson had to recover before he could retrieve it, and that allows Bretton James to make the play on the puck. Carried forward now. Moulton looks to drive wide on his man, who angled him off nicely. That was Michael Putticombe. Now to the middle, high slot, shot blocked once again. Shattuck has had more looks, I would say, in the opening 12 or so minutes. But BWC putting their bodies on the line in their tournament opener. Up to about 4 blocks by my count to this point. Shattuck will make a change on the fly. And will be picked up behind his own goal. Michael Putticombe threw it to an open side. BWC trying to get a change underway here as they were able to get it to center. Cleared down the ice, and now they will be able to change. That'll bring the Gibson line back out once more. Gibson across the line, feeds Chang, now in front. A great look for Ryder Bowie, but he just towed it, deflects it wide. Best chance of the game so far between either club. Shattuck tries to counter, goes off the outside of the goal, dangerously put in front. Now it's shot on goal, and a big save by Oak. Didn't look like that was gonna be a chance that he was gonna need to make a save on. But a turnover dangerously in front, and there's the chance by Ryder Bowie. He did make contact with the puck, but it winds up off the toe of his stick and wide of the goal, and then Shattuck was able to counter and turn that into a fast break chance at the other end themselves. If not for Tyson Oak, this is a 1-0 game, and we're back at center ice. Shattuck won the draw, but forced to just put it into the corner, and BWC will pick it up and carry. Long pass ahead, deflected on the backhand by Ryder Bowie. He'll go after it himself. Some line mates changing behind the play. They cause another turnover in the zone. High slot shot saved, and thought it was going to trickle through, but it'll be a stop for Luca DiConzolo. His first one in a while, and that's a high danger chance. Stopped nicely by the Shattuck's netminder. The native of Buffalo, New York. The left-handed catching goaltender gets the start in the first game of the tournament for Shattuck. And this is a program that demands excellence. There's so much history in this Shattuck St. Mary's hockey program. They don't just come into these tournaments hoping to showcase their best players or hoping to have a good showing in general. They come in with that in mind, of course, but they expect to win these tournaments, regardless of what age group they have here showing. That'll be sent down out of the reach of the intended stick, and it'll be an icing call. Faceoff will come back down, and last time this was the case, BWC was able to turn this into a pretty good scoring chance, and of course they send out Kenzo Gibson's line once more, and again with some different wingers on his line. Christian Lima comes out, as well as Wyatt Lowther. So expect to see plenty more of 13 for BWC. Gets a ton of minutes for this club. That bounces over Tyson Oak's stick behind his net. Tough pass to handle. Shattuck take it back from center. They'll dump it in. Defender for BWC stumbled. It was Putticombe who gets back up in time to take away a passing lane, but the puck remains pinned in the corner. Shattuck will dig it free and fell just out of the reach of defenseman Bowen Domoleski. Otherwise, he would have been able to hold the zone. Now he'll get it in his own defensive zone. Up the wall, can't get it past the BWC defenders. Now a nice pass to the right wing side. Carried in, a drag move to get away from Chang, and it's sent into the corner once again, still with possession, but then Chang throws his shoulder into the Shattuck's forward. 4 BWC players over the blue line, make it all 5 together. Pass too hot to handle, though. It'll stay down low in this scoreless tournament opening game at the Canadian Crown U15 Elite. I've had the pleasure and privilege of being to a ton of these Canadian Crown tournaments over the last calendar year or so, and it's the U15 Elite that draws arguably the most eyes, and I mean, probably not including the championship games. This is one of the bigger crowds I've seen for a Canadian Crown game, excuse me. And as mentioned, a lot of eyes on an event like this. So a lot of these players you will likely see scouted heading towards different drafts. The WHL, for example, have a handful of scouts here, as you may be able to see it at some point on our broadcast on our camera 1 when it pans over to currently the crease of that man right there, Luca DiConzolo. When the camera pans over there, you'll see a lineup of scouts behind the net taking notes and trying to decide which players might be the right fit for their clubs if they're lucky enough to draft some of these highly talented young athletes. Another icing call will go against Shattuck. That's their 3rd one of this period with 4:26 remaining, still scoreless. Off will once again come down. This time it'll be Gibson with Bowie and Falk, it looks like, as the far winger. Face-off, however, won by Braden Dean. First underneath, waist-high pass, it gets through, and now a nice one over the left wing side as Jack Kaiser will fire that in. Tries to go after it. It's among some skates. Owen Moulton had a play on it, but he couldn't find it. To the line, but not out, much to the chagrin of the BWC coaching staff. Falk mishandled it. Might get another chance on it. Gibson's going to come in and play hero as he sends it up to Bowie. Backhand feed through the middle. And this looks like a little bit of a frustrating shift just based on the body language of the BWC coaching staff after a couple failed clears and then maybe a little overzealous on the pass. That one got through to the blue paint, but it's intercepted and carried ahead. Now 3.5 to play in this opening period of our opening tournament. Or opening game of the tournament, excuse me. Spinning shot while stumbling. That flutters over top of the goal. Chang off the glass and gets it out to center ice. That's banked in. Both teams will make some changes on the fly, but it'll be BWC with possession as Logan Chang, one of the assistant captains for his team, starts the rush, gets it to the far side for Julian Nelson. He's crunched and the puck stays on the line. Shattuck can't counter. Chang gets another look. He'll shoot off the stick, and that goes high off the glass. Stays in play, though. Chang makes another play. Lowther gets it to Lima on a drop feed. Back to the line. Chang sees some traffic forming. Shot is blocked, and that'll ricochet all the way back down to Oak. Bryson Barker. He'll stop up behind his goal. Deflected pass, forwarded in by Carter Ewell. And he's going to go in as the solo man. And the forecheck throws a stiff shoulder. Another big hit, this time Ewell lays the boom down on his man. That looked like it stung Bretton James as he goes back to the bench. But gets back into his regular rotation. Hopefully just winded after that. Carpenter to the middle. Nice save with the stick. DiConzolo keeps this scoreless with a little under 2 minutes to play. Carpenter couldn't reach it, and that's sent into the Shattuck's bench, so the faceoff will once again stay at this end. After that booming body check by Carter Ewell. of Cloverdale, British Columbia. Have to see if we can get that loaded up onto a highlight reel later on. It's been BWC with more of the physical presence so far. But in my experience calling these Shattuck's games, there is not a lot that rattles this group, regardless of what age group we're talking about. This coaching group has this team dialed in. Gibson couldn't make a play on it. It's over his stick and past the reaching Matthew Sutherland all the way down, but not enough for icing. Sutherland's going to try to run a little interference to clear up some space, and the puck is sent back in from the neutral zone. Gibson throws a shoulder. He knocks his man down, looks to go after it against the opposing number 13, who Easton Anders able to win that battle, and does get reversed back underneath him, however. Bretton James looks up the wall, dealing with a BWC forward on his back now into the final minute of period number 1. Still scoreless to this point. Shattuck is going to try to change that here with a spinning centering pass, and a better defensive stick knocked that away. Otherwise, another great looking opportunity in front for Shattuck. To the line, it's just out. Under 30 to play. Lima is going to go and give chase after it. If Shattuck can be quick here, which we know they can be, they have time for another chance. They get it to the high slot, shot, back door, again trying to bank it in, and Oakes able to collect that. Spinning onto his front side, but as long as you're the first man as the netminder to find that loose puck, and you'll be pretty happy with that. But right on cue, how quickly did Shattuck turn that into an offensive chance from starting in their own zone? Methodical with their passing through the middle of the ice, even when it comes down to those stretch feeds, and it turns into another grade A opportunity. Under 10 to play. Still plenty of time if Shattuck can cause a turnover here, but BWC able to bank that off the glass and out, and that's going to do it for period number 1. Scoreless, but a high-flying period nonetheless. As both teams trading opportunities. But it will remain scoreless through 20, and from the BWC side of things, you can thank that of your goaltender for keeping it at this position in the game, as that chance in the dying seconds there went to Shattuck. It had it not been for their netminder making a miraculous glove stop. This would have been a 1-0 game for Shattuck St. Mary's, but again, it does remain scoreless. And we can talk a little bit about the two teams trading offensive opportunities, but you do also have to talk about the physical side of things, because you can clearly see that BWC had a game plan coming into this. Of course, they have their forward group that can put the puck in the net, but everybody in this lineup, first line, fourth line, defenders, doesn't matter. Everybody in this lineup can clearly play that physical role, and we've seen already 4 hits go in their favor, including a massive one towards the end by Ewell, who sent his man straight down to the ice. And Shattuck is going to have to play a little bit of that chess match here. Of course, they have their offensive abilities as well, and we see how well they can move the puck and how methodical they are with their motion. But how do you handle a team that's coming at you in terms of the physical side of things, as much as we're seeing BWC do exactly that? We'll see. Still a lot to be decided here. It's the opening game of the tournament at the 2025 Canadian Crown U15 Elite. You're watching live on Trick Shot, and we'll be back after this.
How's it going, Canadian Crown fans? Ian Wilson alongside Dan Tenser, the Director of Scouting for the Saskatoon Blades in the WHL. Dan, thank you very much for taking the time to have a quick conversation ahead of this big tournament.
Ian, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Just start us off with telling us, what is it about these tournaments that are so special and exciting for scouts to come out and see these players?
Well, it's an opportunity to see best on best. I mean, you get a collection of talent that it's hard to find in individual weekends. So there are probably, I would say, five throughout the year that we make it a priority to have a significant chunk of our staff attend. And the Crown, of course, is one of them. Not only do we see a contingent of Canadian talent, which is exceptional with the variety of teams that they have attending, but also American talent, which has become, of course, with the rule changes, much more important to be able to see. So it's a fantastic opportunity for us to see some of the American teams come up to
Hmm.
us and get an opportunity to see them play the Canadian teams head to head. And it's a fantastic evaluation. And especially, I would say, given the point of the season that we're at, it's almost the midway point, if you can believe it already. So it's a really nice sort of midway marker to see some of the progression. Maybe there's guys that you haven't seen since September, October. You get a chance to see them in the early to mid part of December and track some progress that way.
And especially in a bit of a high stakes environment too. Obviously, the Canadian Crown just for the bragging rights, but it's a unique environment to get to see these players go through, as you mentioned, best on best and high quality competition.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, in league play, there will be individual games where, you can have a back-to-back and have a sort of a manageable weekend, I guess. A lot of the teams that play in tournaments of this caliber will feel that way. They'll be the strongest teams in their league. They'll have winning records in the 600 to 850 winning percentage sort of thing. They come to an event like this, and it's not like that. The pressure's on right from
Mm-hmm.
the start with the way the seeding works. You lose a game, it becomes dicey. You lose two games, and you're pretty much done. You lose a game at the wrong time, and it's an opportunity to win the tournament taken away from you. So there's no question that again, I would say probably five times a year you get an event of this caliber. The teams come in right off the bat, dialed in for, and you get to see guys step up to the moment or not.
What are some of the things that the Blades, and I mean scouts in general, look at for players maybe beyond the raw skill? Obviously, we know that raw skill is going to take you a long way, but with tournaments like this, you guys get to see a lot of these players both on the ice and off of the ice. What are some of the things that you guys are looking for?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that I would say is to that point about raw skill. Very little of what we look at is point totals. So if you come into a tournament weekend like this and think, okay, I'm going to lead it in scoring, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's probably a pretty good indicator that you're a great player, but the points aren't everything. So you're right, the raw skill can take you a long way, but the additional things that we look at, skating ability is right at the top of the list. The game is getting faster. You can't bury guys anymore. You can't hide them. You've got to be able to skate to play the game. And part of skating is moving your feet. So that work ethic, that motor, that consistency, we're looking for guys that bring it every shift. And I break it down like this. If you're in the Western Hockey League and you're a point a game player, that means you get 68 points a season. So that means you're getting 1 point a game. And if you're that good of a player, you're probably getting somewhere between 20 and 25 shifts a game. So that means, let's just round it down. You've got 19 shifts a game every night. You're a top 10% player in the league, but 19 shifts every night, you're not getting a point. So what are you doing on those shifts? How are you helping your team win? How are you pushing the pace? How are you creating? How are you defending? What's your work ethic like? Those are the moments that we're looking at, is over and above those instances where you do produce. What other parts of the game are you bringing to the table? How are you helping your team build momentum through the game in the shifts where you don't score?
That's super valuable insight. We really appreciate that. Last thing, just give us a bit of a message or just some final words ahead of this big tournament.
I think again we're excited as a staff to watch it. I mean the tournament last year was exceptional. I mean high quality hockey games. Probably three or four of the 10 best hockey games I saw all last year were at this tournament. I'm looking forward to seeing that again. So again, for these players, I think come into this not only dialed in to win, but I like to build the pressure. I don't like to downplay it. There will be teams like us, for instance, will have 7 scouts there. If you multiplied that by every Western League team and whoever else is coming to watch, you've got in 150 scouts plus at this tournament probably watching. There are eyes on you. Pressure is a privilege. It comes with the territory. It's going to be with you your entire career. So get amped for it. Get dialed up for it. Come ready to meet the moment. And we look forward to watching everybody play.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Dan, for taking the time, and we look forward to seeing you and your staff at the Crown.
It's going to be a great time. Thanks for having me again.
How's it going, Canadian Crown fans? Ian Wilson along.
20 minutes in the books. Let's get back after it now for period number 2 at the Canadian Crown between the Burnaby Winter Club and Shattuck St. Mary's. Welcome back into Trick Shot, folks, at the Shane Zender Memorial Rink. Early chance right on. Oh, it's bobbled by Luca DiConzolo, who will be credited with the save, and he was perfect through period number 1, stopping all 7 shots that he had faced. Now up to 8 after an early one at the hands of BWC. Speaking of perfect, Tyson Oak was as well. He was moderately busier, stopping all 12 shots that he had faced in this scoreless start to this game. The Burnaby Winter Club start off with the Kenzo Gibson line once more, but they're going to start to make their way towards the bench is Ryder Bowie, who had a grade A chance in the first period. Just couldn't quite tap it home. Now the remainder of their line mates will head off to change on the fly, still with possession to the blue line, and a wrist shot is deflected off of Joey Stewart's stick. BWC still with possession. They cycle it down low before feeding the point. Rolling puck, deflected down, shot, and that might have caught a defender sprawling down low. Another chance and a save down low. Luca DiConzolo keeping his legs together and makes a couple of saves from in tight. Shattuck's not going to be overly happy with giving up chances in tight like that. Taking a couple of punches already in the first minute and 20 seconds of this period. Now how do you counterattack? We'll start with the defensive zone draw first. Quick discussion over at the BWC bench. Everything seems to be all right though, and we'll get back underway in the early stages of this second period. However, Hayden Carpenter is waved out. He'll be replaced by Wyatt Lowther. Lowther as a winger, won it on his forehand too cleanly though, as he sent it to an open area as Ryson Barker had started to vacate towards the middle. Just onside. Oh, it turns into a break now for Shattuck. What a move! What a goal! 1-0 Shattuck early on a beautiful move off a costly turnover. It'll be Owen Moulton with the tournament's opening goal, and take a look at these hands undressing Tyson Oak from in tight. Bit hard on the fake to the blocker's side. And a yawning cage to fire that into for Shattuck's opening goal. Now 1-0 they'll lead. Shattuck's trying to make a change that was a little bit too late, says the referee. That'll give us a quick delay here. But everything looks to be sorted out, and that tells us, or gives us maybe a little peek as to who's going to be the next line coming out for Shattuck's. And they're now going to be feeling pretty good. The question was, how do you counterattack after taking a couple punches? Well, there's the answer right there. A goal from Owen Moulton. Now all of a sudden it's the Burnaby Winter Club looking for a counterattack in their own right. And we talked early on about the talents of Kenzo Gibson for BWC. Well, take a look over, speaking of Owen Moulton, through 30 regular season games so far for Shattuck, he's put up 71 points. Just an outrageous stat line, 47 of those points being assists. He sidesteps the check but couldn't get the shot off. 71 points in 30 games played, outrageous. Now up to 1 here in the early stages of this Canadian Crown. That puck hopped over the Shattuck stick, but they take it back at center ice, playing a little bit of pass with their opposition for a moment. Now picked up by Logan Chang. Check that, it's Kenzo Gibson, 13, not 43. Chang, though, was on the ice. He gets onto the bench now, and he had a pretty good start to this tournament as well. You can start to see as we work our way through these games as they march along, you get a pretty clear idea of kind of who the quarterbacks are on each team, who are the key players, who are the facilitators, who are the bigger bodies that are going to be laying some hits. And for BWC, Logan Chang, clearly one of the big contributors from their defensive line. And one of the assistant captains for this group as well. He'll watch on for the bench for the time being. Gibson wanted the centering pass, didn't come, and that shot from the point deflected wide. Simpson was the one who fired, hoping for a redirection, and another hit. Ryder Bowie knocks his man down from behind. That goes uncalled. And why not throw one more as well? But it was a glancing blow as Andrew Myers just caught that from his shoulder. He'll lead the rush, send it over the line. Carter Crowley gets it down low. Meyer in front. Simpson makes a nice defensive play to take it away. Out of the reach. That goes to the line. Held in once more. Shattuck's looking to score off of another turnover in this second period, but unable to pull the trigger this time. Still with possession, though. Look to reverse, and that'll be picked off. Carried ahead by Bowie. What a shift he had. Now we'll watch on from afar. Matthew Sutherland stops up behind his net. Passes to his defensive partner. Carpenter makes a move through the middle, drives to his backhand. One more has the lane. He'll shoot wide. Aiden Carpenter with a grade A chance here for BWC, but can't get it on goal. Once again, Shattuck will counter. 4 over the blue line. Pass through the middle, shot on, and a save by Oak. Got the left pad out in time. Track meet opening up here in the middle frame. Puck is pinned in the corner. Just about 5 minutes through period number 2. 1-0 Shattuck leads. Outside, inside move. Puck is knocked loose, though. It's along the half wall. Get it to the line, but not out. Nice pass into the corner. Shattuck's looking for a lane right now. They'll get it to the blue line once more. Glove down, but Oak couldn't handle the rebound. Seen a couple of those in this period. One from Oak and one from Deacon Zolo. Just off the glove. And another one. Oak can't corral the rebound as it bounces off his hand and out. Taking a look at that glove right now. That could have been dangerous and might be something that Shattuck will look to take advantage of. The goalie's giving you a trampoline to rebound off of. Got to make those chances count. Back to the Shattuck's end. Going Domilewski. Chang throws a hit. Shattuck gets it free to the high slot once more. Feathered down low for Stewart, who couldn't get a stick on it. Chang pokes it up the wall. Christian Lima doesn't see a good passing target, so decides to just send it deep enough to force Shattuck's back, but not deep enough for icing. Once again, their counterattack is alive and well. Dug free to the middle. Shot just wide. Bank pass to the boards. Deflected. Goes off the stick of Weston Egan. They'll reverse now for Schmidt. William Simpson made a play to take the puck back, and Chang will look ahead. That was a bouncing puck, and Lima couldn't make contact with it. That'll bring the faceoff back down to the BWC end of the ice. As you get a look at the net right there of Tyson Oak doing a quick lap. We'll see if that glove hand plays a factor here sooner or later. Shattuck will go with the Braden Dean line, and he'll win that on his forehand back to his defender waiting at the line. It was Ryland Schneider. Reverse hit over on the boards by the goal scorer, Moulton. He'll put it in front, and Gets that shot off the outside of the post and then throws another hit along the boards. Onside is the call. James will carry, then he lost the handle. Simpson helps him out. Lima picks it up at the line, and look out, a yard sale. That stick went up to the rafters. Brendan James able to collect that and get onto the bench while his team re-enters. Moulton slot shot, scores! 2-0 Shattuck. Braden Dean started this line of the face-off dot and gets rewarded for his efforts. Blocker side past Oak. Not gonna miss from there. No defender close enough to make a play, and when you have a shooter like Braden Dean in an area like that, yeah, chances are it's gonna be a 2-0 game. Dean with 13 goals through their 30 regular season games so far. 21 helpers under his belt as well, good enough for 34 points. And that's the thing about this Shattuck's club, is I already mentioned Owen Moulton with his 71 points through 30 games. And you kind of go down the list from there. I mean, Jackson Lau's got 63 points as BWC tries to get their first goal of the tournament. And I mean, there's only one player right now on this roster through their regular season with single digits in terms of points, and it's Joey Stewart, who's only played 7 games so far. Everybody else, in terms of their forwards, or these defenders as well, no, it's defenders as well. Everybody else that's played all 30 of their games, they're in the double digits in terms of points, with the lowest total being 11, and you could probably guess that that number is coming from a defender. But in terms of their forward group, their lowest point total is at 31. So their lowest scoring forward is still over a point per game, which is just unbelievable stuff for the Shattuck's group, who now lead 2-0 and try to make it 3. That shot, however, is blocked. McNellis takes some space. Not much, though, as he's angled off by Putacombe. Putacombe will throw another hit before it's knocked loose by Jackson Lau. He's knocked down off of another big hit. Shattuck will have to retreat to their defensive zone. It's deflected back in by McNellis. He and Lau will team up on a forechecking effort. Lau's parked in front. The pass was there, but a good stick by Tyson Oak knocked it away. Carried forward now by Falk. From the left wing, he'll lob that into the corner, allow his line mates to change on the fly. He'll continue to show some effort in the corner, digging the puck free and getting it across or below the goal line, to Ryder Bowie. Bowie's going to go and give chase after it after that shot went wide of the goal. Spinning shot, another one into the corner. Chang down from his line, looks to make a play, tries to drag it in front himself, but it's knocked away by a good defensive stick. Rolling puck. Falk covering for Chang, made a nice play. Just onside, carried in, and off of a Shattuck stick and out of play. Ryland Schneider able to take away a lane and collect a whistle. There's that stick that went airborne. We'll go back to the face-off dot once more. Shattuck's able to collect a win. Nice pass forward, partial break. Barker got back quickly to make a play and then throws a check into the corner. Backhander, that's off a skate. Now a spinning shot, floats wide. Big rebound to the side of the goal. Close call, but Oak closed off on the post just in time. It'll be spun back down low. Shattuck will work the cycle in the corner. That shot goes off the opposite boards and back to center. That's deflected past Chang. Barker, first man after it. Out of the reach of Schmidt. Scaletti gets it over center. Another play just onside and a big blocker save denying Jack Kaiser. Kaiser knocked his man down. Shot scores! Deflected in. Now the question is, was it off a BWC stick or did Shattuck get the deflected goal? The initial point shot was hammered on by Bowen Domoleski. It was a bit of a skipper, and we'll get a look from this angle here. Hard to tell. We'll have to go to the scorekeeper's box to decide who's going to be credited. Is it going to be Domoleski, or was there a forward in front who caught a piece? Regardless, 3-0 Shattuck after a scoreless opening period. Have really turned it on, and remember back to the opening couple of minutes of this period, it was BWC with a couple of quick chances. But moments later, Shattuck's able to figure things out. Another partial 2-on-1 there, but no shot on. Still with possession though, in front, deflected just off the side of the goal. Close chance for Braden Dean to collect what could have been his second of the game. Sent back down the ice. So they are indeed going to give it to Domoleski on the point shot. 2 of the 3 Shattuck's goals now coming unassisted. Remember, Owen Moulton, who opened the scoring, took the puck away, just intercepted a tough BWC pass, fired it home. And now Bowen Domoleski able to get that on, and might have gone off a BWC stick. Braden Dean, the only goal scorer with an assist, registered beside it, and it does go to Owen Moulton, who's got 2 points now in this game to lead the charge for his team. Shattuck's now up to 25 shots to the 14 of the Burnaby Winter Club. Will carry it into the offensive zone, but got to do some work now from the corner. They got a man open at the point, and they do get it there. It was Matthew Sutherland who sent it back down. Opposite corner for Rowan Stacey to chase after, but it's out to center ice. 7:20 now remaining in the middle frame. Shot right into the breadbasket of Tyson Oak. That'll be an easy save for him to handle. And remember, if you want some more action here in our intermissions, we've got another interview coming up for you. You saw one in the first intermission. Coming up next, our very own Ian Wilson, who's going to be on the call for the games over at Dale Fisher, had a chance to sit down with the assistant general manager of the Medicine Hat Tigers, Bobby Fox. So you get a chance to take a listen in on that conversation in the intermission after this period. One-timer, shot stopped by Oak, and the rebound is cleared. Right pad save, a big rebound off of DiConzolo. That looked like it was going to be an easy tap in. Chance the other way, backdoor feed, and that's out the other side as well. Here comes the Burnaby Winter Club, led by Ryder Bowie. He'll shoot from a tough angle. That goes wide of DiConzolo, and Shattuck will once again look to counter. A couple of nice passing plays. Gibson knocks that free, and Logan Chang will carry. Those two will pair up on this rush chance. It's Gibson, back to Chang. Looked to put it in front, but there was nobody home. Gibson tripped up, no call. Long pass forward, and spinning away now is Lau. In front, chance to tap it home for McNellis, but couldn't make good contact on it. Still working from the corner as it's chipped away. Anders, excuse me. Gibson, captain of his team, chips it ahead, couldn't get it out. Lau drags, shoots, off a stick and out of play. That was Ryson Barker who will get that deflection, but the faceoff stays in the BWC end of the ice, who are a little bit under fire, but had that good rush chance right before Shattuck was able to counter back with a chance of their own. But I think the message for BWC in their dressing room after this second period is likely going to be take care of the puck in our own zone. Too many costly turnovers. That shot goes wide. Off the end boards, almost another chance for Stewart. Dropped down to a knee, but couldn't get it on goal. That pass went between the legs of Lima, so he'll have to forecheck. This time they caused a turnover. Carpenter then mishandled it, lost it among the defenders' skates. Lima protecting. Curls around the corner, shoots wide. Close to too many men as that puck went dangerously towards the BWC bench. Still no penalties called in this game. Tyson Oak able to collect that, and for the first time really here, we're going to see some pushing and shoving. Not enough for a penalty. Thought we were going to get the broadcaster's curse right there. But everybody will separate. Latest goal scorer, Bowen Domalewski, back on the ice. He'll man the right point. And now with possession, settles the puck down, gets it over to his partner. Shot deflected in, scores! This time it did go off of a Shattuck St. Mary forward, because you can see Braden Dean grimacing a little bit here. He's winded. That may have caught him in a sensitive area, but he'll be credited with his second goal of the game and now his third point already of this tournament. No question there. Ugh. They don't ask how, they ask how many. And for the question of how many, Braden Dean's answer will be 2. 4-0 now after a scoreless first period. BWC needs some answers here. And if you thought that Kenzo Gibson was playing a lot of minutes through the first period, well, expect those to be even more elevated. Braden Dean just scored a goal, causes a turnover, and gets a shot off, but that'll be a glove stop for Oak. This time, no rebound to be shown for it either. Lima deflects that pass. If he's quick, he can turn this into a chance. He's got a lane to the goal. He scores! Post and in. A beauty for Christian Lima. BWC is on the board. We've talked so much about the counterattack of Shattuck St. Mary's in this game. How about this for Lima? He deflects the pass in his own zone, turns on the Jets, gets to the loose puck first, and then a picture-perfect shot off the post and in to get his team onto the scoreboard finally. Now trailing back by 3, and still lots of time to do some work. But got to start to be pretty strategic about their attack here with 4:21 to play in this middle frame. If they can get another one before the end of this period, they put themselves in a pretty good spot heading towards the third. Offensive zone face-off for BWC, and they'll take it off of an intercepted pass. Puck is loose right in front of the blue paint. So we've seen BWC make that mistake in their own zone a couple of times in this game. Suddenly it looked like it was going to be Shattuck's as some defenders stumble into each other. Everybody back to their feet. It was Simpson and Chang. And that puck winds up out of play, and we'll see whose stick this went off of last, if it'll stay in the BWC end or if they'll get a little defensive relief out to their neutral zone. It looks like that will not be the case. And Shattuck will go to their line, centered by Easton Anders. Anders gets a little bit of help. Puck stays in for a moment. Chang retreats back to his own zone. Makes the play over to Simpson. But the clear was not a good one just yet. Simpson still having some troubles. This forecheck of Shattuck's doing all kinds of work right now. Finally, it's picked up by Rowan Stacy, who chips it off the glass and out. Bowie's going to go after it. Gets there first, but then lost the handle. Here comes Shattuck St. Mary's over the line. Jackson Lau. Here's his line mates entering with him. Decides to put it behind the net. Dug free by McNellis, who's knocked down. Putticombe pokes the puck free. Bowie throws a shoulder, and Stacy was waiting in the middle of the ice. Now a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Stacy over the line, puts it through the middle, but out of the reach of his intended target, and Bowie throws another big hit. This time, he's going to go after the penalty box, barring a Shattuck's goal, but BWC next to collect. That'll give us our first power play of the game, and it will go to Shattuck St. Mary's off of the boarding call to Ryder Bowie. Starts with an early face-off one. Walking the line, shot on, rebound off the post. Rebound is still behind, and somehow, some way, this remains a 4-1 game. Oak was sprawling all out of sorts, and the puck looked like it just needed to slide, I mean, maybe another inch over the line. We'll get another look at that shortly, I'm sure. Shattuck's will remain on the power play. To the line, not quite in. Sent back in, and this power play will have to do some work, starting off from their own zone first. Less than 2 minutes to play until the intermission. Carried into the corner. Puck is stopped up for a moment. Gibson gets crunched. Puck stays among the rugby scrum. Dug free. Gibson looked like he was going to move forward with it, but he was stopped in his path. Now, off an interception, it's a chance as Gibson puts it between his legs, protecting now one hand, and he's hauled down to the ice. No penalty on the play, or is there one behind? I didn't see any arm up, and it does not look like there is one still. Here's a look at that chance for Shattuck's that somehow did not wind up as the 5-1 goal. And then Kenzo Gibson with a shorthanded partial break where he was hauled down. No call on the play. So it will remain 5-on-4 in favor of Shattuck St. Mary's, who lead 4-1. But it'll be an offensive zone faceoff for the shorthanded Burnaby Winter Club. Shattuck's now will pick up and carry. Nice defensive stick, knocks the puck loose, only for a moment though. Now far side, a chance to pull the trigger for Jack Kaiser, but couldn't get the shot off. Now another BWC hit behind the goal. Looks like that knocked down Jackson Lau, who shakes it off. Lima scores! A shorty! Christian Lima cuts the lead in half. Second of the period for Christian Lima. One on a beauty. On a burst of speed off the post and in, and then this one shorthanded. Just inside the post. Might have dipped a little bit on Luca DiConzolo, who's likely going to want to have that one back. But I mentioned it earlier, if BWC could get themselves one more before the end of this period, they could put themselves in a pretty good spot heading into the third. And they've done exactly that. 35 seconds to do some more work. And Shattuck is going to be a little frustrated at the tail end of this period, but still nursing this 2-goal lead. There's a glancing blow, but Grayson McKenzie sidestepped that. This power play just can't really seem to get possession back. Another shot, just wide. A little careless in the defensive zone right now are Shattucks. And that is going to do it. An outpouring of goals in this period number 2 after it was scoreless through 20 minutes. Now 6 goals in total, but it's a 2-goal lead in favor of Shattuck St. Mary's, who go 4 straight before BWC gets the last 2 straight. Both of them from Christian Lima, one of them at even strength, one of them shorthanded, which you just saw a moment ago, and they're going to have a few extra seconds of this penalty to kill off heading into this third and final period once we come back from intermission. But a pretty good job here so far. I think you can count yourself in a pretty good spot if you're able to not only kill a penalty off, but also score a shorthanded goal to go along with it. Not a bad end of this period for BWC, who looked like they were in complete shambles throughout parts of that second period, but have finished off strong and now find themselves in a pretty good spot. And Shattuck is going to look for a little bit of a response here heading into this final period of regulation. Again, as mentioned earlier, you saw a quick interview with our very own Ian Wilson in the first intermission. We've got another one lined up for you. He had an opportunity to sit down with the assistant general manager of the Medicine Hat Tigers, Bobby Fox, and we'll give you that chat right now.
How's it going, Canadian Crown fans? Ian Wilson alongside Bobby Fox, the assistant general manager of the Medicine Hat Tigers. Bobby, thank you very much for taking some time out of, I'm sure, a busy schedule to sit down and have a chat.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No worries whatsoever. Of course, the Canadian Crown at this time of recording, just a few short days away. Hard to believe it's already here, and the excitement is palpable as the top U15 talent coming from across North America to partake in the Crown. How excited are the scouts to come out and see?
I know our scouts are excited. It's a priority event for us. You get to. It's essentially the halfway mark of the scouting season, and we're just looking for steady progression and make sure we got everything covered.
And for a tournament like this, you mentioned it's the midway point of the season, so you get to check in with players. What are some of the things that you guys are looking to check in about? What are some of the ways that players are able to stand out amongst the rest at this point of the season?
Consistency is huge for us. Like, we're looking and progression. We want guys like the WHL it's a really hard league, and you guys have to constantly get better to have success. And we have our checkpoints beginning of the season, and halfway through the season, and hopefully in the provincial events at the end of the season. We're seeing a steady increase in terms of, things, what the kids can do is, just play with passion, show how much they love that this is going to be a competitive tournament. And it's perfect for us to see, who rises to the top. And for the kids, there'll be 2 games going on at a time. There's going to be multiple scouts there for the kids. They can't take a shift off, because you never know at what particular time what guy's going to be watching, what somebody's going to notice. A scout may be walking back and forth, and you want to make sure you make a good impression on every shift.
definitely. Time is of the essence, and you have to be able to make most of the moment. And with this being a tournament format, obviously, a chance to see a little bit of a different side maybe of these players and their performance, because it's one thing to look at a player in a regular season game, but an entirely other thing when the ante is upped in a format like this.
Yeah, I think you'll get two different opinions on that. Like there's some guys like I'll show up on a Tuesday night and a rink in the middle of nowhere, and you want to see how a guy plays when there's nothing on the line. You want to make sure that every night he's bringing it. But obviously, every team in the Western League is looking to win a championship, and they want to see which guy's game rises, and their competitive juices, who's really going and who's contributing to those wins.
Now, you make some very good points there. And the last thing I got for you, I mean, you talked about the WHL being a very difficult league. In your words, what does it take to get to that level? And specifically in your case, what does it mean to be a Medicine Hat Tiger?
You have to be able to think the game. You have to, for us, where you got to be able to skate. You got to obviously have to have that skill level. But again, guys are built different in the Western League. Really competitive guys trying to find a way to get better. So, it's basically what you're doing when nobody's looking, to get better. And, lots of, whether it's shooting 1,000 pucks a day, whether it's, working on, maybe a simple thing is just box jumps or something to get your speed up, your explosive power up. So, it's one thing, and like we're not looking for guys just to make the Western League. We want guys that are going to come in and thrive, and then sign pro contracts. So it's a process, and we're looking for guys with that growth mindset.
Fantastic, Bobby. Last thing, any final words or a message ahead of this big tournament?
Not in particular. I just it's play your game within the team game, and there's going to be, each team is going to have 4 or 5 staff members there watching. It's it's what's your ability to block that out, play in the present, and go after it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time out for a chat, and we'll see you very, very soon at the Canadian Crown.
All right. Thank you very much.
action coming right up at the U15 Canadian Crown. And it's Shattuck St. Mary's leading 4-2 over the Burnaby Winter Club. We're now back at even strength and are feeling pretty good thanks to this man right here, Christian Lima, who had 2 goals in the final 5 minutes of the second period after his team trailed 4-0. He's given his team a fighting chance, and his pass missed Simpson, so BWC will have to tag up at the blue line. They wanted a quick start here at the beginning of period 3, and Shattuck St. Mary's, although leading 4-2 at the end of that period, likely feeling a little bit, I don't know, not too pleased with how things closed out. They ended the second period on a power play, but gave up a shorthanded goal. Not to mention one at even strength just before that. Kenzo Gibson will fire that deep into the corner board. Still no points yet for Gibson. Christian Lima has both goals for BWC. A nice bit of hands there from Hayden Carpenter, who put it between his legs, but then had to settle the puck before firing that in a little bit deeper. Now carried ahead by Jack Kaiser. Moulton opened the scoring early in period number 2. A couple more pushes and shoves thrown in front of the BWC bench, but they were able to get that into the opposite end before Shattuck will bank it forward, collected by Braden Dean, who's looking for his hat trick goal. Moulton couldn't make the move to the inside. Carried ahead now. Bryson Barker, the defender, will lead the way. Protecting, spins away from his man. Now Nelson down low. We'll do some work with Carter Ewell. Pass just missed the reaching Ethan Cartadinata. Ricochets off the end boards. Cut off though and legged forward by Grayson McKenzie. He's gonna go 1-on-3 and he loses his angle, then runs into the goaltender Oak, who goes down. Again, I haven't seen an arm of any official goes up or go up. We'll see if there's a call here. Grayson McKenzie having a lengthy conversation with one of the linesmen, but 5-on-5 will continue to march along here. And remember, if you want more Canadian Crown action, this here on Trick Shot is going to be where you're going to find it. We got a full schedule of games here. The games over at Dale Fisher should be getting underway in about half hour's time is their first matchup of the day. Oh, and Shattuck scored. Looking down at my stat sheet, and they make this a 5-2 game. Grayson McKenzie able to turn and fire off the face-off win. That just dipped down, so we'll get a good look at it here. Tyson Oak wants that one back. You can be certain of that. But just to finish that thought, the Dale Fisher rink should be getting underway in about half an hour's time between the LA Junior Kings and Upper Canada College, who will be facing off at just after 11:30. We are back underway here at the Shane Zender Memorial Rink at 12 noon. So in roughly about an hour's time before we get going for our second game of the day. Couple of nice bob and weave moves by Jackson Lau. He creates some space for himself. Fired in by Myers. He'll go chase it down with Jackson Lau. How does BWC want to play this now? Had the last 2 straight goals before giving up the first of this third period. Now trailing by 3 once more. Carpenter got it to the line. That shot is blocked. A chance to go now for Myers. Tough lane, but he goes to the backhand, and that'll be stopped by Oak. Cheeky little play there by Andrew Myers. Pretty much forced to go across the crease and hoping that Tyson Oak would open up the 5-hole, but he did not. Now might have to make another save, and he does. Rebound to the near side. That hops over the Shattuck stick. Otherwise, it would have been a chance for another tap in. Easton Anders had that chance. Gets it to the line. Pass was out of his reach, but it does wind up below the goal line. One-time shot was fanned on by McNellis. Lima centers. That goes off a Shattuck skate and directed on goal. It'll be an easy stop for Luca DiConzolo. He hasn't been quite as busy as Tyson Oak, but has still seen 21 shots thrown his way, up to 19 saves so far early in this third and final period of regulation. And at the other end, Shattuck St. Mary's has fired 39 on goal to this point now in the third period, including 22 in the second. They fired anything and everything in on Tyson Oak in that middle frame, who might have to make another save here. A nice pass, but that shot goes over the shoulder. Blake Schmidt with that chance. And he'll get another look, but that's off a defensive stick and wide. Across the line. Shot through some traffic. Another on the rebound and a left toe save, and that'll slide over beside the goal. Shattuck's pressing for that 4-goal advantage once more. And that'll be smothered by Oak as he falls on top of it. And the thing as well with this Shattuck's team, like mentioned already, the 22 shots on goal in that second period. It's not like they're just gaining the line and throwing everything on net. There's a method to their madness here. They're getting to high danger chances or high danger areas before they get their shots on. A lot of rush opportunities with a centering pass, and BWC has been good with their defensive sticks to take away some of these chances, but have just been under fire from just about the second period onwards, and we're seeing that carry over a little bit here as that shot off of another face-off win is deflected off a stick, and Oak had to reach over again with his eyesight being taken away by the traffic. There's a man open back door. It was Braden Dean. Pass doesn't come. Now he'll get it. Another slot shot that's blocked. Whatever was said in that dressing room has worked for Shattuck's at the start of this third period. Logan Chang couldn't make a play on it. Now it's a one-on-one drive. So that shot attempted by Jack Kaiser was fanned on. That'll be carried forward by Gibson across the line on his own right now. It's his line mates changing behind the play. Trying to do a little bit of everything himself, but cannot direct that on the mark. It'll be carried ahead by Reese Del Giaco. Now Gibson will change. So Oak made another save, and the rebound falls out of his glove once more. The goaltending position is such a mental position to play. Of course, you need to be a good athlete to be able to make some of these saves, but half of that battle is between the ears, and I do just wonder, I mean, we saw in the first period Tyson Oak struggle to control some of the rebounds, specifically on the shots that were going towards his glove, which I know a lot of people would argue is pretty uncharacteristic for his standards, but I wonder if to start off the game like that, if that just trickles into your mental state a little bit, because even here in the third period when his hands are very well so warmed up, still bobbling the puck a little bit. Ty Warnick lost the handle, has to tag up. It'll be dumped in, so he'll just change. Carpenter will be the late forward to go over and join on the bench. Allows Shattuck a little bit of extra room to enter the zone. Loose puck battle is won by Shattuck St. Mary's. Now to the back door, almost a tap in there as well. Still with it now, but to the point. Right pad save, it'll deflect to the wall. Carried in, it's a 2-on-1 now, led by Gibson. Backhand pass across, and it just missed Wyatt Lowther. Shattuck, though, not out of the woods yet. Finally, they're able to carry forward. The opposing number 13, Easton Anders, turns on the Jets. Chang forced him to go wide. And now that will deflect all the way down. So DiConzolo has to come out of his net to make a play. Hard to rim, over to the far side, carried by Anders. He'll pass to the right wing, and that rebound is handled easily by Oak. Takes it right into the logo on his chest, and Shattuck will line up for an offensive zone faceoff. You see the flurry of chances pouring on for Shattuck, and that's just the last chance. It's been pretty well all through the start of this third and final period. 12-14 left in regulation. That skip pass goes across to Domolowski, who had one of the 4 Shattuck's goals in the second period. They go across the line. One-timer is well wide of the goal. Simpson to Bowie. Across the line and poked ahead by Theo Falk. Domolowski, first pass, couldn't get it through Nelson. Second chance, they'll get it to the opposite line. It's chipped in, and Michael Puddicombe will reverse to his defensive partner. Long pass forward. Sent right back in, but with possession comes BWC. They'll be able to try to have a cleaner breakout. Losing possession. Start to Donata, couldn't make the play on it. Oh, look at that hand-eye to knock it down. Joey Stewart had to reach backwards. It was about waist high and still knocked it between his legs. That was impressive. That shot deflected in. Oak made the save. Egan, first man in. He's got Carpenter on his back. Hooks a pass in front. Once again, trying to jam it from the side of the goal. Off of Oak's stick. Shattuck still with it once more. Blake Schmidt gets knocked down. Got a piece of that pass to slow it down a little bit, but not enough. Will be sent back in now by Carter Ewell. Loves to throw the body. Throws another hit right there. Tags up is he'll get a chance now with Gibson. Protecting the puck. He's hauled down once more. Puck is there. Great save, and this time it will be a penalty as Kenzo Gibson was hauled down. It's going to be a hook, and Burnaby is now going to get their first power play of the game. After Kenzo Gibson has a chance to take that to the goal, but couldn't quite get it there. He'll stay out on this power play. He's going to center Lowther and Bowie. Tristan Lima is going to be the forward at the point, and the lone defender will be Logan Chang. They're winning the special teams battle so far this morning with their shorthanded goal on the boarding penalty to Ryder Bowie in the second period. Shattuck's almost returning the favor. Here's Lima with room. He'll shoot off a body. Bowie almost put that in off of his hip. Lima throws a hit. Right play as he knocks the puck loose himself, gets it to the line. Gibson protecting, passing down to Bowie. Bowie to the line for Chang. Gibson gets that on his forehand. Lima downhill once more. It takes a hop, and that'll be a save by DiConzolo. Wasn't the cleanest look that BWC was looking for, but they are indeed getting their chances here, and they're instructed from the bench to keep this top unit on. Here comes Gibson. From the left side this time, tries the sharp angle shot, and that goes out of play off of a Shattuck stick. So the faceoff will stay in, and it looks like now the second unit will make their way onto the ice. Shattuck was unsuccessful on their only power play of the game. Trying to force BWC into pretty well a mirrored effort in that. Just about halfway through this power play, or a little over halfway through this power play, I should say. Home. Starts to Donata, able to get that ahead, but not much farther than the face-off circle. Carpenter made a nice play. It'll be carried forward. Barker lost the handle. Puts that down low. Spinning from some pressure, doing some work solo on the half wall. Now Putticombe across the line. A howitzer by Barker, handled easily though by Luca DiConzolo. Penalty is over. Both teams now 0 for 1 with 8 minutes left in regulation. Still 5-2. Shattuck St. Mary's leads over the Burnaby Winter Club. Gibson back on for this 5-on-5 shift. Puck is forced to the crease and dangerously across. Lowther couldn't find the handle. It's back down once again. Matthew Sutherland, first one after it. Quick moving third period, I should say, as well. Good flow to this game to start off this Canadian Crown U15 Elite. Sutherland made another play, gets it ahead. Wyatt Lowther finds Lima, and his shot once more is deflected up and out of play. This time Ryland Schneider getting a stick in the lane. And the adjustment made here by Shattuck St. Mary's, specifically in on Christian Lima, has been something to watch. Obviously, he on hat trick, joining Braden Dean in that category. But with Christian Lima scoring 2 goals in 2 completely different ways in the second period, one where he shows off his speed and his hands, and another one where he shows off his precision, his ability to shoot the puck. Hasn't really gotten a clean look in this third period, despite some chances, including a couple on the power play, which has expired as of a moment or so ago. Nelson down to Bowie. He runs into Schneider. Schneider up the wall, couldn't get it through Chang this time. Down from the blue line, creates some space for himself, looks back to the perimeter. Waiting is Nelson. Fakes the shot, banks it around, and it goes back to the corner for Bowie. Head up, reverses for Nelson. Carpenter is tied up. He's gonna have to get on his horse a little bit to catch up to the puck, excuse me. Couldn't get there in time, and Shattuck will take it back with control. To center, that's intercepted. Shattuck's turning right back. Clock goes down to about 6 minutes left in regulation. Clock is the enemy of BWC here. Have to get something going, trailing by 3. Easy save, big rebound though. Ewell couldn't get the spinning shot. And then he ran into a teammate. Slow numbers here for Shattuck as that slides in towards Tyson Oak. Doesn't want to take any chances. He'll hang on for a face-off. Ty Warnick out for this face-off. Won that nicely on his backhand. Now Ewell gains the line, jumps it in. Stacy trying to help on the forecheck, but I found Jackson Lau instead. He's passed through, that's deflected by Warnick. Couple of nice moves, though. Scores! Biggest lead of the game now. Quick shot, basically right as they entered. Jackson Lau shows off a bit of a perimeter shot. Blocker side on Tyson Oak. Lead back up to 4 for the second time in this game. They were up 4-0 before BWC found their offensive footing a little bit in the second period. Lima has both the BWC goals. His shot goes off the end glass. Both teams jockeying for it. Eventually it's knocked away from Lima. Oak has to come out of his crease. High risk, high reward. As he takes away his Shattuck's chance. Now Lima rings that hard on Gibson, throws a hit. That forces Shattuck's to ice the puck as he closes the gap quickly in on Bretton James. Lima on the forecheck. Knocks his defender's stick loose. It's a blind pass, finds his way to Sutherland at the point. He'll feather it down low. Lowther tries to reverse. There was nobody there. Gibson caused a turnover. Puck is centered by Lima and quickly covered by DiConzolo. That feels like it's been a bit of the story of this game for BWC. Puck is finding its way to those dangerous areas, but just not quite able to bear down or, turn it into an actual high danger chance. Now Weston Egan is waved out. He'll be replaced by Schmidt. Barker takes it to the blue line off of the faceoff win. He'll try to center. Gets the rebound back himself, has to deal with the swinging stick of Blake Schmidt. Carpenter from the crease, couldn't get it on goal. Schmidt off the boards, not out. Barker's shot goes wide of the net. Carpenter below the goal line. Carpenter down on his knees, so Falk will come over to give him a hand. Arta Donato is sent sprawling from the blue paint. Now numbers 3-on-2 for Shattuck's. Falk's got to get back quickly, and he can't get back in time. They score on the odd man rush to make this 7-2, and the offense just continuing to pour it on here for Shattuck's. Yeah, Joey Stewart, blocker side. It's the second straight goal that's gone blocker side past Tyson Oak. And all of a sudden now, when I was going down the stats through the regular season of this Shattuck's team, suddenly those numbers starting to make sense as their lowest scoring forward, 31 points in 30 games. Their lowest scoring forward is over a point a game. Remember, their highest scoring forward, Owen Moulton, 71 points in 30 games. Guilty, not a math guy, so I'm not going to be able to tell you how many points that is per game. Maybe someone up here in the booth can help me out with that equation. But all of that to say, the offense of Shattuck St. Mary's, which has been dynamic in this game, putting up 7 goals so far in their first game of the Canadian Crown, is flexing their muscles a little bit. Braden Dean still the only member of this Shattuck's team with multiple goals so far, as he's got 2. Both of those coming back in the middle frame. Luca DiCanzola with a glove stop there. 2.366 repeated points per game for Owen Moulton through the regular season. Came up with that number all on my own, folks. Just off the top of my head. Shout out to the crew of Trick Shot, producing and doing some math. Gibson with the drop pass. Down the half wall goes Lima. His pass was out of the reach, though, of Wyatt Lowther. Gibson cycles to Lowther, in front again to Gibson, had his stick tied up, and the puck trickles back towards the outside for Jackson Lau. Has a goal in this third period, and he stumbled going towards the goal, almost got a chance, but the puck bounces over his stick. So we enter the final 2 minutes, and there's another penalty coming up here, maybe some frustration from both sides. But I think it's just the Shattuck's forward, Andrew Myers, who will be heading off for 2 or less. Second power play opportunity of the game for BWC. But 0 for 1 on their first chance earlier in this period. Yeah, that's about as clear cut as it'll come. This top unit getting some extra reps late in the game here. And remember, in a tournament like this, goal differential does play a factor if there's a tiebreaker at some point heading towards any of the round robin games, or specifically towards seeding. So not the round robins, I mean more so the semifinal stages. So BWC would be wise here to continue to hunt for goals despite it being late and this game being out of reach with about 80 seconds left in regulation. Carried forward now from the defensive zone of the power play. They're going to have to go right back down to that end because the turnover sends the power play back to their defensive zone. Clock winds down to 45. Lima spins to collect, weaves through the middle, gets it onto his forehand and sends it wide. Bowie digs it loose. Gets some help now from Falk, who spins away. Takes it behind the net. Bowie ties up his man, Falk. The benefactor of that play, now back towards the blue line, deflected by Falk, and his second chance was a swing and a miss. Now 15 seconds to go, fluttering puck, and DiCanzola will sprawl on top of it. We'll wait for the end of this game to find out the announcement of the players of the game. One per side gets announced respectively. I think we got a pretty good idea of who it's going to be for BWC. Christian Lima with 2 points to lead the way, both those being goals. And there's a couple of options, I would say, in terms of point production specifically from Shattuck St. Mary's. Both Owen Moulton and Braden Dean leading the charge with a pair of points, but it's Braden Dean with a pair of goals specifically to help his team close out a 7-2 victory. 4 goals through the second period, and then 3 more when they needed them, with BWC pressing in the third. A pretty clutch performance from Shattuck St. Mary's. Even with BWC starting to press later on in the second period and at the start of the third period as well, Shattuck's just looked like they were in complete control as this game marched along farther and farther. And That's exactly why they find themselves with a win in their tournament opening game, 7-2 over the Burnaby Winter Club. And both these teams will play again later on today. If you are a fan of either club and want to see some more action, first of all, Trick Shot is going to be the place you're going to want to find it. Shattuck St. Mary's will be back underway at 5 p.m. here at the Shane Zender Memorial Rink against CIHA, who will play in their first game of the tournament. And BWC will be underway at 4:30 over at Dale Fisher against Team Illinois, and they're the group that had the complications with their travel yesterday. Changed up a little bit of their schedule in terms of games today. Illinois, instead of playing 2 games on day number 1, they'll just play the one against BWC and then play an extra game tomorrow evening against CIHA as a bit of a makeup game. And we'll now get the announcement of the MVPs. And it will indeed be Braden Dean, a 2-point effort, both of those being goals. He'll be announced as the MVP of the game for Shattuck St. Mary's. And they're going to give it to the captain, actually, Kenzo Gibson. Pointless, but still putting up quality chances for his team. Oh, they're handing out a couple MVPs, actually, doing things a little bit differently here than what they've done in the past. So Christian Lima does indeed get announced as one of the MVPs. Luca DiConzolo, the goaltender for Shattuck's, will line up for the picture as well. And that's going to do it, folks. First game of the tournament officially concluded, but you don't have to wait too much longer before you find some more action here on our screens. Of course, over at Dale Fisher, Upper Canada College, playing right now against the LA Junior Kings. But here specifically at Shane Zender, it'll be the St. Albert Sabres facing off against NAX, and that'll get underway at 12 noon. We thank you for joining us for this one. We hope you join us for that one as well. For the entire crew of Trick Shot, I've been Tino Farah, and we will see you next time.